Nick Fury, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The anti-terrorist organization?
That's just one part of our initiative. The rest is top secret.
Mission briefing software online. Welcome, Colonel Fury. Welcome, Spider-Man.
Hi? Should I talk to the computer?
Hello, Spider-Man.
Remind me never to get on your bad side.
Oh, Spider-Man, that's just not possible.
Goblin says he wants to help.
Better than getting locked up.
Mind control? Somebody needs a thumping.
I've got enough psychopath sidekicks as it is.
Come on. Where am I?
Okay.
Name's Blade. I'm here chasing after something with eyes a lot like yours.
Like mine? No, no. It doesn't go "Rawr" a lot, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Before his most prized video game work in Fortnite, Spider-Man's gamer origin story starts on the PlayStation 2 for me. An interesting thing about this game that I want to get out of the way is it's being treated as Spider-Man 4 since it's in the 71002 universe, which is a branch of the Sam Raimi universe, the original Sony Spider-Man universe. However, I call cap. Sorry to burst your geeked out nerd bubble, but they're not in the same universe because no Sam Raimi, no Tobey Maguire, no Spider-Man 4. 71002, 71 fucking Gluck Gluck 9000 my arse. At the end of the day, they want to sell copies and you bought into it. Look, I'm not even hardcore into the multi-university comics, but I do know that Sam Raimi didn't even want Venom in Spider-Man 3. He only wanted to focus on one villain at a time, which was Sandman. So what makes you think he'd want Nick Fury to come in here and go, hey, fucking Scorpion, Rhino, Mysterio, Phantoms, and yeah, you'll get the help of Iron Fist, Blade, Black Cat, Silver Sable. Yeah, Cap. Let's just execute that elephant in the room, but don't tarnish his name. The only reason I bring this up is because I don't want you to tarnish the name of friend or foe either. Don't forget, there's a reason I'm doing this review, because let's be honest, a lot of us don't like to admit that we've got more out of the games than we did the movies. I mean, I'm being all types of controversial tonight, but think about it. While watching the movies, you get to experience a brilliant masterpiece of a film. Spider-Man 1 and 2, fucking phenomenons. Literally revolutionized the superhero movie industry as a whole. They were classics as classics can be. However, can you be Spider-Man? Yeah, take that in. I want you to focus on a fucking amazing game that takes inspiration, yes, from the movies, but also the previous games released and the TV show adaptations and the comic books as well. This game was a big chunk of my childhood, so without further ado, let's get right into this. Let's get raw. At the start of the game, you witness probably the best Spider-Man scene of all time. Spider-Man overlooking New York City, thinking to himself,
What a peaceful, dull evening. Then, boom!
You're up against Doc Ock, the Green Goblin, Sandman, and Venom. Harry Osborn comes to help last minute. All of this crazy shit's about to go down before all of you notice Venom-like symbiote bad guys climbing up the buildings and wanting a piece of the lasagna too. All of you stop fighting each other and turn your attention to these mysterious beings. Venom strikes first and he's teleported away, then the rest follow. Before Spider-Man gets teleported, however, you're abducted by S.H.I.E.L.D. and don't meet meet Samuel Jackson, but you meet a very white Nick Fury. You find out that one of the meteorites Venom was a part of entered Earth's atmosphere and broke up into Tokyo, Tangaroa Island, Cairo, Egypt, Transylvania, and Nepal. You find out that these enemies are called phantoms, and they aren't biological. They're a mix of holographic technology and the symbiote technology found in the meteor, which explains the teleportation. What's more is someone is actually behind all of this. They're using the shards found from the landings, and they already have one shard and are actively attempting to find the rest. This is why Nick Fury needs your help to get these shards before whoever's behind this can. Your first stop is Tokyo, Japan, where the Green Goblin and Doc Ock are located. Here you're introduced to the mechanics of the game. As Spider-Man, you can punch, combo punch, power punch, combo power punch, and use objects, big or small, to throw at your enemies as well. You can also use your web shooter to perform my favourite move of any Spider-Man game of all time, one I call the breakdance. You can also throw enemies to each other or just simply throw them off a cliff, which is fucking fun. But remember, Spider-Man doesn't kill. Apart from in the video games, the enemies of this game are as follows. Small annoying phantoms that special super awesome move is self-destruction, normal phantoms, bigger phantoms, and even bigger phantoms. You can swap to Prowler, who has his own unique attacks as well. In other versions of the game there's also Silver Sable, which I didn't even know was exclusive to PC and Xbox. Why did they do this? Well, I believe the PS2 is sexist, so I want you all to boycott Sony for this disgraceful move right now. Send angry emails, start some Twitter hashtag revolution, or whatever the fuck it's called, and break into their headquarters, signs and pitchforks in hand, because this is disgraceful, and tell them to remake the game. Tell them to remake the game. Oh yeah, baby. Yes, for this disgrace, they need to remake the game, remaster it for all platforms. Then you all forgive them and forget that this ever happened. That is the conditions. You can also pick up power-ups within each level that increases your strength or grants you invincibility. There's also a rarer power-up where you and whatever companion you bring along has a strictly no-homo bromantical final move, and these animations are all unique to each character. You can pick up yellow orbs along the way that acts as an in-game currency which you could use to increase the strength, toughness, or health of any given character, as well as an extra move, available for everyone else but Spider-Man. Now I think this was a questionable decision not to give Spider-Man another unlockable super move, but it kinda makes sense because he's easily the most overpowered of all the characters you play as. And if you played 2-play with anyone back in the day, you know that everyone wants to play as Spider-Man. Hey, what's up, little bro? Hey, do you want to play Friends or Foe, Spider-Man?
I want to play Friend or Foe, but I want to play Spider-Man. Are you playing the Prowler?
No, I want to play Spider-Man, but you played Spider-Man last time.
No, but I like Spider-Man more than you.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Spider-Man, I know every movie.
If he can ID our mastermind, he's in.
Okay, you can play Spider-Man now. I'll play as Venom.
No, you like Spider-Man more than me. I like Venom more than you, though.
No, that's not possible. I'm the biggest Venom fan there. I know all the movies. Nah, Venom sucks. You play as him and I get to play as a new Spider-Man.
Okay. I really appreciate how spaced out it is between missions, having fun with new characters you unlock, and then finding enough money to upgrade the future characters you are yet to unlock. People definitely can see this game as a pretty repetitive beat 'em up, and they have valid points. It can get pretty damn repetitive as there's only like 4 enemy types, and pretty much each new area you go into you're gonna be fighting these people. But I personally didn't mind it, I found it fun, and I like that every 2 levels you get a new villain or a friend that you can work towards leveling up. And each of the villains you face have their own unique boss fight as well. However, some are pretty damn easy, like Scorpion's pretty damn fucking easy. There's also another pretty big aspect of this game that gets sorely overlooked. While playing through the game, there are hidden areas you can unlock with a key found in other hidden areas that open up arenas. When you clear out these arenas, these locations are now available for player versus player co-op in the SHIELD HQ. The mode was a first to 3 PvP fighting mode, and it slapped. You could play any character you want, you don't have to only just pick Spider-Man, and it was one of the most fun I've ever had versing my friends and family on the PS2, next to War of the Monsters, and I guarantee, if this game was remade with next-gen graphics and gameplay, and it was released on all platforms for crossplay, it would be so bloody successful it's not funny. It needs to happen. I mean, Friend or Foe 2 wouldn't be a bad idea, but rebooting Friend or Foe as a whole is a great idea. It would be big bucks. If anyone listening in from Sony, money, big buck idea, big brain move, do it right now, make it happen. Before we get into the rest of the plotline, let's talk about the name of the game, Friend or Foe. Spider-Man first fights Doc Ock before realizing his mind was controlled by an amulet after being teleported by the Phantoms. The following villains are furious that someone took control of their minds and reluctantly joined Spider-Man and S.H.I.E.L.D. to take out the mysterious supervillain. Obviously, Spider-Man doesn't have many close friends, and most of them turned out to be foes later on. Peter Parker has had a pretty tragic life with his friendships and his relationships, so the idea that him and all of these villains are teaming up to fight something bigger than them is both awesome and unsettling to both parties. The dialogue between Spider-Man and whoever you pick to join you throughout the game is so well done, and while hilarious, it further cements the tension between each party.
Hello, tall, dark, and ugly.
Pipe down and fight!
Look! Punching bags! With feet!
Look! A spider that talks! And talks and talks and talks!
Nick Fury is obviously delighted to get more help because he simply sees them as an asset to their team and is not really in danger at all. It's just Spider-Man who's in danger. Doc Ock is fine because he used to be Spider-Man's friend at one point before being mind controlled for the first time by his suit. But it's a pretty big adventure to go seek out these meteorites, where all of your worst enemies will also be located, and it's a pretty big ask for White Nick Fury. But back to the main story of the game. Spider-Man meets up with Black Cat in an interesting interaction which some people might call flirtatious.
I'm looking for a crazy guy with big metal arms. Have you seen him?
Yeah, he's inside this building. How bad do you want in?
Which some people might call flirtatious. She's willing to let Spider-Man through the doors to face Doc Ock, only if she's able to come and help as well, so the two party up and battle against the Octopus.
Yes, this will do nicely.
Doc Ock is planning to build the power of the sun in the palm of his hands all over again, but this time not for himself. He's doing it to increase the power of all the Phantoms by what he said is tenfold. Your job is to break the machine so when Doc Ock comes down to fix it, he's unprotected by your attacks. And eventually you defeat him, break the previously mentioned amulet controlling his mind, and now that he's on your side, you're off to fight the Flying Elf.
Flying green elf.
Here you'll fight on a helipad where he throws conveniently placed pumpkins for you to throw back at him. And bada bing bada boom, you now have the Green Goblin to fly around the map, my brochacho, although you can't do that sadly. Yeah, I was upset that you couldn't fly as Flying Saucer, but you know, whatever. It would have made the game a bit unbalanced and breaky, but that's fine.
Better than getting locked up.
The Goblin mentions it's simply better to join your team instead of getting locked up, which I guess is the motivation for a lot of these villains. So now you're back at the S.H.I.E.L.D. airbase to get ready for your next mission. Nick Fury isn't too thrilled with the computer constantly joking around, so he turns off the sense of humor in her programming. This upsets Spider-Man, prompting him to turn it back online, which is the beginning of one of the best harem anime arcs of all time.
Oh, come on. Just give the poor thing its sense of humor back.
Sense of humor circuits reactivated. Thank you, Spider-Man.
Here you're briefed that Tangaroa Island holds Iron Fist, someone S.H.I.E.L.D. previously sent in, however he hasn't radioed back in 24 hours. The threats surrounding this meteor shard is Scorpion and Rhino, which is also the beginning of my childhood obsession with both of these villains. Although playing as Scorpion is incredibly fun since he has this cool tail-whacking move, the boss fight is pretty simple and easy.
Hey, what you doing, pal?
Afterwards, you come across Iron Fist, where the normal-sized Phantoms have pinned him and are preparing to attach an amulet to him. But not today, little punks. And now you can play as Iron Fist. I mean, You can play as Iron Fist, but I mean, like, I'm still saving my money for upgrading Rhino, so... This fight between you and Rhino is a big redemption for Tangaroa Island. It's a lot more fun than Scorpion's boss fight. You can either go up to him and fight him before he charges, or try and lead his charge into one of the surrounding electrified pillars. And bada bing bada boom, Rhino is now Mino. So now you're back for another briefing at the SHIELD HQ to find Nick Fury gone, as the computer has convinced the staff that he's an android impersonator, since he was pissing her off with the whole personality modifying. I mean, yeah, if this happened in real life it would be a little freaky, but you can't really blame her.
Remind me never to get on your bad side.
Oh, Spider-Man, that's just not possible.
Computer!
During this briefing you come across the realization that the Phantoms are getting stronger at each new location, meaning its creator is getting better at creating them. The Symbiote Index, which is a scale for measuring how dangerous someone or something is rising exponentially, so you really gotta head in and stop them before this game turns Souls-like. However, there's a sandstorm brewing in Egypt, one so big that the SHIELD HQ can't get any good imagery or readings of the location. The computer suggests that this could be the work of the Now, if you thought any of the previous boss fights were done well, oh boy do I have news for you. The Sandman. The Sandman.
Oh boy.
The Sandman has 3 main attacks that you need to avoid, one being sand lines that you need to jump over like a skipping rope, and another one where he teleports somewhere and you need to avoid sand traps that'll spring up on your way to him, and then another one where he pushes you back and send waves of giant fists that you need to traverse on your way back to him. You need to be careful that they don't push you off over the cliff. Although it's pretty easy at the start, this shit gets downright metal the more health you take off of him. You smash the amulet, and the Sandman can finally remember his daughter again. And now you're off to Transylvania, but instead of meeting with Adam Sandler or Selena Gomez, you're off to find a meteorite guarded by a very symbiotic Eddie Brock. You're also briefed that there's something else that's tougher than the Phantoms in the area, wiping them out. But you take the gamble that whatever it is, it's on your side and you head on down. Once here, you find out that the Phantom Hunter is actually Blade, and one of the coolest voice actors in this game.
Name's Blade. I'm here chasing after something with eyes a lot like yours.
Like mine? No. It doesn't go a lot, does it?
Yeah.
Oh no. That's Venom, and, well, we're sort of related.
And now you're off to get Venom. Now, I did definitely play through this game as a kid because it was fun and the story was gripping. However, one of the biggest reasons that I kept on playing was to finally get to play as Venom, and no cap, I played mainly as Venom after getting him. However, playing this game in retrospective, I need to say, this Venom boss fight is silly as fuck, my guy. It's just silly. You already know from Spider-Man 3 that bells and metal clanging are one of the symbiote's biggest weakness. So where does Venom want to fight you? Right next to a bell. But don't worry, he gooed it all up so you couldn't hit it, but you can easily just punch that bitch up and hit the bell. So good, he runs off, probably to an area where there's no bells, because he's a smart man. He wants to fight Spider-Man fairly. 2 bells. Not 1, but 2 bells. After whacking the goo off again, he runs off.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
3 bells. 3 bells. 3. So in total, he's fighting you around fucking 6 bells that you can just whack and shit. But now you have Venom, so 10 out of 10. Now you're back at the HQ, getting ready for your final mission. As the computer scans the location, she notices something non-atmospheric is jamming the signals intentionally. Spider-Man also notes that the communication traffic are all coming out from this location and not towards it, which is evidence that the mastermind is located here.
I'm not just going after the last meteor shard. I'm going after whoever's behind this whole phantom nightmare.
Spider-Man, there is a point of concern. Phantom Symbiote Index is rising by the minute.
Then I'd better get down there.
Spider-Man, It's so dangerous.
And all of your game theories are correct, my G Fuel slurping sex gods. Mysterio is in the building, and he proves once and for all that he's not a businessman, but he's a business man. Mysterio uses the Force to snatch the shards from Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man gets overpowered by the ever-growing phantoms, and he hurts his hand a little bit too. So he does what he thinks is right. In order to fight fire, you need an emo fringe. So he grabs the shard and squeezes it in his hand. Nick Fury tells him the black suit is too dangerous, but he forgot the part where that's his problem. Audio jungle. Audio jungle. Audio jungle. Audio jungle. And now you're off to fight and stop Mysterio once and for all. I feel like this also needs to be said, but Mysterio has been countlessly done right in Spider-Man video games. I mean, look, I loved Jake Gyllenhaal and his performance. There were some great moments in Far From Home, and it's not a bad movie. However, if you want the best introduction to what makes Mysterio such a badass, don't look any further than Friend or Foe in the Spider-Man 2 game. Goddamn, this boss fight is the best one. Obviously, good developers would try and make their final boss fight their best one. But far too many times in video games, final boss fights, even in spectacular video games, can be a pretty big letdown. This one, however, hectic as fuck, my guy. Mysterio starts off by having the high ground, using lasers to sweep the floor that you need to jump over. Then he comes down to teleport around the place, sending more lasers and Sandman-like traps for you to definitely get caught in. And just like the Sandman fight, the more you damage Mysterio, the faster it all gets. Even almost 20 years later, I was on the edge of my seat attempting to go for as long as I could without getting hit, and damn bro, it's pretty hard to pull this boss fight off flawlessly. I mean, I didn't do it, I'm not claiming that. But eventually you take down the big bad boss of this institution and save the world.
Nick, it's over. I got the shards, Mysterio is down, and I'd like to go home now.
You return to Nick Fury one final time where he congratulates you and informs you that he had your school loans paid off.
How did you know who I was to pay them?
Please. I have a multi-billion-dollar spy agency at my disposal. You think I can't follow a guy in red and blue pajamas through New York City?
Oh yeah.
Go home. Take your girl out to dinner. Enjoy yourself. You earned it.
Nick, so those shards we collected, they're dangerous and...
They're in good hands.
Teleport sequence initiated.
Mysterio was onto something. I want the remaining meteors analyzed until we know what makes them tick and how we can use them.
Right away, Colonel. What should I name the project file?
Considering the mess these things have made, Carnage. Call it Project Carnage.
Affirmative. Project Carnage initiated.
And now that the game has finally ended and the story comes to a close, you now have to deal with one of the biggest cliffhangers in video game history. Well, what a fucking wild ride. There were so many different levels with unique level design you could complete with many different characters to unlock along the way as well. The level progression with each character made it feel like you could go back and play it again with new characters and grind it out and max out all your characters. However, one thing I will complain about at the end is something that even bothered me when I was a wee man, before I even thought about criticizing my favorite video game. Why was the new Goblin not in it until the very end? The only time you see him is in the opening cutscene, and when you finish the game's just like, hey, you got a new character unlocked. And you're like, oh fuck yeah, I got Mysterio. But then you see Harry Osborn, like, what the fuck? I would have loved to play as Mysterio afterwards. But also have Harry come in along the way, maybe help out with the fight against Sandman or Venom. That would have been cool, man. I mean, I know Mysterio wasn't really mind controlled, but we can chuck the rules aside for just a little bit, surely. Surely, come on. However, apart from that, and the Venom and Scorpion boss fight, this game still holds up damn well. Nostalgia was euphoric euphoric, breakdancing was satisfying, and I still had a blast and remembered why this game was such a big standout in my memories from my childhood. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, as it took a little while to make, I'm not gonna lie. I did put a lot more effort into this review than usual, so if it does well, I'm probably gonna do a playthrough and review in a similar format of Spider-Man 2. And to be honest, I'm so damn excited to go through that one again and see if it still holds up like this game does. But anyway, that'll be the end of this video. I hope I entertained you, brought back memories, or intrigued your interest. As always, stay safe, stay humble, stay sexy. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Suck your nipple.